This is simply for educational purposes only and should never be done to harm anyone. I'm simply showing you this for the purpose so you understand rats and protect your guests and self them. Yo, what's up guys? Last video I showed you how you can get full remote to someone's computer using a Discord rat. But a lot of you were having problems because setting up a Discord bot is not that easy. So this video I'm going to be showing you how you can use a super simple tool with a super cool GUI called the Quasar RAT. Quasar RAT is super popular. So by the end of this video, my goal is to give you a basic understanding how rats work, how you set them up, and how you protect yourself against them. So in your browser, type Quasar. I already have it right here, github.com, user Quasar and repo Quasar. So it's free, open source, remote administration tool for Windows. It was coded in C#, which is kind of cool. That makes it super fast and lightweight on Windows. So that's nice. And scrolling down here, we have all the features. We can go on that a bit more later. One thing, to run Caesar, you need .NET Framework 4.5.2. If you don't have it, just copy this section, paste it to Google, find the Microsoft installer and just install it. You don't need any crazy configuration, just the framework. But if you ever code a C# on Visual Studio, you probably have it, but just check it to make sure. So we can move on to download immediately because I already have it. I don't need to download it. We can go into latest stable release, right click, open a new tab. Now here we see it, Quasar version 1.4.1. Scrolling down, here we see the assets, here we see the zip file. Only this one is important for us, the others we can ignore. So we install this, go ahead and open it, open the zip file. Let's just extract it immediately and copy the path right here so we don't have to do anything and paste the path in. So right here, Quasar version 1.4.1, we go inside. Here we have all the files and we don't need to look anything. I said in the intro, it's super simple. Right here we have the quasar.exe. All we have to do is run this. And that's it. We just double click it and this will open up. To use Caesar, create a new certificate or import an existing one from your previous installations. And we have two options right here, create and browse and import. So if you're new to Caesar, you probably just need to create a certification. You don't already have one. But if a hacker already has some compromised systems on a machine, he can use that machine's certification, that Caesar certification, to import the compromised systems on a new device so we can control them from both devices. You get the point. So we create. This might take a while. After the certification is installed, made, it will be saved right here inside the Quasar version 1.4.1 folder. So just be patient and we click save. It's done. Then this is going to pop up with your certification. And I'm going to blur this out because it's my certification. I don't want to give it to anyone. And it says right here as well, keep this file safe. Loss results in losing all your compromised systems, all your clients. We just click save. Please back up the certification now. Loss of certificate results in losing all your clients. And we can see right here, the certification got installed right here. We click OK, we understand. And this is going to pop up right here. This is the main page. Moving on to our dashboard, right here we see IP address, tag, user at PC, version, and a lot of stuff. Here we will get all the systems, all the victims that we make a successful connection with, all of them that run our payload, our RAT. And at the top, we can see connected 0. Currently, we have 0 connections, obviously. At the bottom, we said not listening. I can show you that right now. Here we see port to listen on, 4782. This is a default port for Quasar, and we can start listening. When we press start listen, right, it says listening on port 4782. Now, currently, we're waiting to get a connection from somewhere. We didn't make a RAT yet, so we're not going to get a connection, but this listens for any connection. And you should put a non-occupied port. For example, 4782. I don't think your port 4782 is occupied. Just don't put something like 80 if you're running a web server or something, because they will interfere with each other and will not work. Moving on, enable IPv6 support. This allows connections using also IPv6. So if you uncheck this, it will only allow connections from IPv4s. Self-explanatory. Then listen for new connections on startup. This is also pretty cool and pretty useful. So if you send a payload to a victim and you don't know when they're going to run it, and it could be days, weeks, and you don't want to go to Quasar every time and turn on listener mode, you can just turn on listener on startup and it will always be listening. I'm going to uncheck it. I'm just going to show the bare bones. So yeah, show pop-up notification on new connection. So whenever you get a connection, self-explanatory, you get a notification on your desktop. try to automatically forward the port UPnP, universal plug and play. It's super cool that it has this option because it's super useful. This basically tries to open the port on your router, this port right here, 4782. It tries to open it. So if you're sending the payload, the RAT, outside of your local network, so you can get the connection without setting up any servers, you can just turn this on. It will try to open this port on your router, so you can make connections outside of your local network. Show tooltip on client with system information. This is also super cool. So when you get a connection with a victim, the payload, the RAT, tries to get as much information on their PC, so their hardware, their IP address, their information, all that stuff immediately before they even detect it, before they even remove it. Then enable noip.com DNS updater. This is the best feature on Quasar RAT by far. This allows the RAT to connect to a domain name instead of an IP address. And this is super useful. Let me show you why. If you don't know, your IP, your router IP constantly changes. Your internet provider gives you a new IP weekly, daily, monthly, depending on your internet provider, depending where you live. And this is a big problem because your RAT has a hard-coded IP where to connect to. So you set this up, a DNS, a domain name. So even if your IP changes, it doesn't matter. You can always make a successful connection. So I'm going to uncheck this. I'm just going to show bare bones, as I said, so I can make this work. So I'm going to start listening, save. I'm good to go. Listening on port 4782. Now moving on to the builder tag. Right here, we build our RAT, our payload that we're going to send to our victim. And in basic settings, first up is client tag. Client tag is not that important. This is just our side. This has nothing to do with the victim. They will not see it. This is just for us to differentiate different RATs. So for example, if you made 10 RATs with a tag video game cheats, and you made another RAT with the tag free RAM, and you send it to 10 different people, and if you get a lot of connections named video game cheats, you would know video game cheats is working a bit better. Move up, we have process mutex. Process mutex is not that important. We can just skip it right away. And then we have unattended mode. Activating this allows remote control of the client of the system we compromise without user interaction. So enabling this, when they open the RAT, they need to run it once. Then every time they boot up their PC, we can access it anytime. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to allow anything. I'm just gonna leave it all just so I can make this work. Then moving on to connection settings. This is just to give a RAT an address to connect to. First up is connection host. Here we give our IP, our PC IP, mine is 192.168.178.41. And then the port. Port should be the same as the listener one. So we're giving the RAT an address, an IP, and then the port to connect there, and we're listening on that exact port. So you get it. Then we press add host, and it comes up here. So if it goes here, you know, you did it good. Then reconnect delay, time to wait between reconnect tries. Currently set at 3000 milliseconds. This is just so when the victim runs the RAT and the RAT cannot make a successful connection because maybe your PC is off. How long should you wait to make a connection, to try the connection again? This just really depends on who you send it to. If the victim is very tech savvy and they check their outgoing connections, you should probably set it a bit higher. So maybe when they check them, they miss it, they don't see it. But it really depends on who you send it to. I'm just going to keep it at 3000. It doesn't really matter. And this option goes hand in hand with the other feature I talked about earlier in the settings, the listener on startup. So if you have listener on startup on, as soon as you start up your PC, you'll be listening on that port, and the RAT will be trying it over and over again, and you'll make sure to have a successful connection. Moving on to the installation settings, this is more social engineering. First up, we have installation location. You can turn this on, you don't have to. This is just to tell the RAT where to install itself to, where to copy itself to. For example, user application data, it would install itself, for example, here inside app data. If you set it to program files, here you would need the administrator permission. It would install itself, it would copy itself into program files inside the system. Or for example, system, it would copy itself into Windows System 32 system. Then install a subdirectory. Here, the RAT makes a folder that's going to copy itself inside to. So you can set this to anything. If you're a bit smart, you can set it, for example, Microsoft. So when the victim sees it, they're probably going to think Microsoft. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it how it is. Then installation name. This is where you name your client, your exe file. Since we named the subdirectory Microsoft, we're going to name it Microsoft_SQL, for example, server. So if they see this, they're going to be like, oh, okay, this looks legit. I'm not going to touch it. Then we have the option set file attributes to hidden. This is if you want to hide the .exe file, so they don't see it. So they have to go into view and see hidden files. You can turn this on, you can turn this off, doesn't matter. Set sub attributes to hidden, same as the file one, just for the folder. You can turn this off, turn it on. I'm going to let this off so I can just make it work. I don't have to install it into my system32. Then auto start. Self-explanatory, it runs the client when the computer starts, when the victim starts up their computer. This needs administrator permission. When we turn this on, we have a startup name option. So when you go into your settings, you can see your startup apps, and this will show up in there. So if you leave it Quasar client setup, it will be pretty suspicious. But if you name it, as we name it Microsoft, for example, Microsoft startup, and then I'm going to check it off just to make it work. You can do whatever. Just make it look legit. Then assembly settings, assembly information. This is also doesn't matter. Also social engineering. If they check priorities of the file, they can see, for example, product name, description, company name, copyright, trademark, original file name, product version, file version. You can change all of this to make it look fully legit. You can change product name to Microsoft, description, Microsoft server, whatever. I'm not going to do it. It will take a lot of time for no reason. And also very cool assembly icon. You can give your exe file an icon. And if you watch my previous video, my Discord RAT video, I showed you how you can rename an exe to look like a PNG, a PDF, a JPEG. You can change it to whatever, make it look legit. So you can change it, for example, to a PNG file icon, and then name it quasarrat.png, but it's actually an executable, so they suspect a bit less. I'm going to check it off. I'm not going to give it an icon just so I can make it work. Then monitoring settings. Here we can record their keystrokes. Monitoring, enable keyboard logging. Self-explanatory, we record their keystrokes. Super scary feature. Then log direction name. Here we need to obviously save the keystrokes that we get into a directory, into a folder, into a file, and we can name this whatever. We can name it Microsoft to make it look legit, underscore keyboard. So even if they see it inside, they're going to say, okay, it looks Microsoft keyboard. If they're not tech savvy, they're not going to suspect anything. Then set directory attributes to hidden. So if you want to set the folder, the file to hidden, we can check it on, check it off. I'm just going to check it off. I don't have to do it, so I don't have to look through it, so I can show you more easily. Then we just click build client, build payload, RAT, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. We're going to save it to our desktop right here. Click save, open the folder again, and right here, client build.exe. But first, make sure in the bottom right here, listening on port 4782. Successfully build a client. Now we're going to head over to our virtual machine, our Windows virtual machine, so we can run it there and use it as our victim. So in our virtual machine right here, this is Windows, and I have the client-build.exe right here. Think of this as the victim machine, and you're probably going to need a bit more social engineering to get the file here, but you get the point. I'm going to run this as an admin, so I have a bit more permission, so I can show you more features, guys. And run as an admin. When this pop up, just click yes. And here it looks like nothing happened, but in the background here, you can see we can open this up. It's going to start running here in our task manager, and it's going to try to establish a connection right here. Caesar client, connection established. Now we can go back to our dashboard, to our Caesar client dashboard, and right here, we got the successful connection. And we can right click to see more information. We can see administrator, monitoring, user support, client management. I'm going to go through each one of them to show you guys. For example, in administration, system information, this gets the basic information on their PC, such as video card, memory, processor, operating system, everything. We can right click to see their files, their file manager. As you can see right here, I can open the virtual machine again. Here is a desktop, for example. Just remember the files, for example, yo.txt. And we go back, we go on user, who am I 10, desktop right here, and right here we can see their desktop, all their files. We can see all of their files. None of them, they cannot hide anything. We can right click again, administrator, startup manager. We can see what type of apps they have on their startup. For example, VBox Tray, OneDrive. Yeah, you get the point. Administrator, task manager. We can also stop processes running on their PC, or we can start processes on their PC. You can see all of the processes running. Administrator, remote. We can do a remote shell, so we can type commands on their PC if you want to. I'm not going to type anything. TCP connection, I'm not going to show this because it's going to show my real IP. I don't want to dox myself for no reason. Reverse proxy, you can listen on a reverse proxy if you want to. You can also see the registry editor. You can change stuff. You can add stuff here, which is super powerful. We can also perform remote execute. We can give files to their PC so we can execute more files there. For example, also actions here. We can shut down their PC, restart it. We can put it on standby. On monitoring mode, we can get all the passwords, keylogger, remote desktop. Let's do, for example, remote desktop. Let's start it. Let's see what happens. Right here we can see full remote control, full remote desktop. We can do anything here. We can move files so we can see what they're doing, everything. I'm just going to stop it because it's taking a lot of my memory. But you get the point. It's very powerful. Keylogger, for example, we can get logs, what they typed. It's going to take a bit. Let me just go here, for example. Let me just type some keys in. I'm going to go back, and right here, HTML file. It said I pressed Alt-Tab, so I went into a virtual machine. So you can log everything. You can also show messages. You can make a message pop up on their PC. For example, here, caption, you have been hacked. And we can send it. We go back here, right here. You have been hacked. You are running Quasar. About, retry, ignore. But we can scare the shit out of them with this feature. We can right click again, support. We can send them to a website. If you want to rickroll them, you can do it right here. For example, google.com, and we can say visit site. We go back to the virtual machine. My virtual machine is super slow, but it will make them open a website. And in client management right here, we can elevate permission, but we already have them. We don't have to do it. We can update it. We can reconnect, disconnect if we have some problems with the RAT, or we can just install it. Let's just, for the end of this video, since I'm ending it here, I'm just going to install it. Yes, you're going to install. It's going to uninstall it. And if we go back to the virtual machine, right here, it's going to slowly uninstall. It's going to turn it off. And yeah, right here, it's gone now. Doesn't exist anymore.